Welcome back to the Write Life 101. This is the third segment of writing a horror novel. Understanding what a horror novel actually is and then adding in the appropriate characters is obviously important. But once you have that, you need to know what to do with it. In this video, I'll talk about choosing the right setting and for the right kind of horror that you want to write. If you've ever read a horror story or watched a horror film, you've probably noticed that they have a particular thing in common. They take place in a quiet, out-of-the-way location. And that's because to keep with the slow progression that the horror genre depends on to carry its audience from the beginning to the ending, it needs to be able to avoid too many distractions going on at the same time as possible. Think about it. Even when a group of friends go to a cabin for a little getaway, it's always away from any populated area. And even though there might be 5 friends in that cabin, they are always stalked and killed when they're alone and away from the rest of the group. You ever notice that? So when you're creating your setting, you want to choose a place where there are as few interruptions as possible. A cabin in the woods, a haunted house at the edge of a forest, an abandoned building, even a high school after everyone but a handful of students have left for the weekend. Unlike the other genres, the setting of a horror story is gravely important. See how I fit the word gravely in there? Yeah, that's because graves are scary and
Okay.
a gravesite is another setting that goes well with the horror genre. Just having your characters passing through one conjures up ideas of death and killer corpses. There are many different places where a particular setting will work for your horror story. Just make sure that it's secluded so your reader can concentrate on the plot and not have to be inundated with unnecessary diversions. I also want to talk about the right kind of horror story. Believe it or not, there are several kinds. There's psychological horror where the real terror takes place inside the main character's mind. Supernatural horror where you will concentrate your story on ghosts, entities, and the unexplained. Survival horror is where your main character is pushed to their limits trying to survive an unrelenting threat. There's even folk horror that is all about rituals and old beliefs. And then the quiet horror. Our Girl in the Old House is a good example of this. It's filled with subtle inferences, creeping dread, and a fear of the unknown. The type of horror that you choose will shape the tone, pacing, and style of your entire story. Every horror has one kind of monster or another, and it's imperative that you create yours with meaning. Now, when I say monster,
I say run.
it doesn't have to be the kind that leaps out of the forest with the bloody fangs and chases you around the hot tub. It's horror, not a thriller, so it's more subtle. In The Girl in the Old House example, the monster is the unknown. Remember, we don't know if there is actually something behind that door. The fear that the girl is experiencing up until she discovers what it is merely whatever she has conjured up in her mind.
I can conjure up a lot.
She has created the monster, and throughout the duration of the story, she will have to cope with that monster in ways that will help her to become better than she was when she began. The final thing that I'll touch on, and one that your reader hates more than anything else, is a poor ending. From the start of your novel all the way through to the climax, they have been content with the little reveals that you have been successfully teasing them with. And they are okay with that because they are preparing for the big climax that will make it all worthwhile. In the case of the girl in the old house, your reader will follow her faithfully for the entire novel, not hoping for much more than a steady progression towards the ending with the occasional injection of excitement. They will remain captivated as she walks to the door and then does nothing. Then she returns but finds the door locked. Then she finds a key but does nothing with it. Finally, she tries the key, but it doesn't work. In a way, your reader might be relieved when each of her attempts end up failures because they may not be ready to find out what's on the other side of that door just yet. I know I'm not. But by the time you get them to the climax of your story, you better have something spectacular waiting for them. If at the height of your climax, the girl finally gets the door open and after standing in the doorway, realizes that the room is empty and the group of people were just playing a mean trick on her, well, she might be relieved, but your reader will be royally pissed off.
An empty room? I'm okay with that.
You have caused them to invest all of that time reading your story only to let them down with an unforgivable ending. Have you heard the saying, the end justifies the means? Well, as long as you can deliver a good ending, it will justify whatever poor attempt at a horror story you have tried to create. But the ending must be good. Let's say that the girl took that job house sitting even though being in there alone scared her more than anything else.
I can guarantee you, no more than me.
But that group of people had convinced her that by remaining in that house for the weekend without becoming too scared and leaving the premises, they would reunite her with her missing twin sister. She soon realizes that the group of people are the ones responsible for her sister's disappearance. And if she would have any chance of seeing her again, she would have to play their sick game. So, at the height of the climax, when she finally gets the door open, she stands in the doorway and can't believe her eyes. It was her twin sister all along, trapped inside the room. I'll be damned. The horror genre is an amazing genre to write in with endless possibilities if handled the right way. And the beauty is, you don't need an axe-wielding psychopath running a college girl down a poorly lit road after curfew. You don't even need to have anything actually scary in your story. All you need to have is the right setup, the right character, and the right setting to allow your reader to convince themselves that there is something scary in your story. Thanks for watching, and if you found anything that I said beneficial to you in any way, hit that subscribe button because you never know, my next video might just be helpful too.